Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to our new episode of the Time Maker podcast. Today, we have the chance to have as host other very nice guy, watch brand owners, and Mike's going to introduce them. Mike, if you may.
Yeah, so welcome and thanks for coming back. I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome and introduce Tayeb and Yahya from Radcliffe Watches. They just successfully launched their first campaign on Kickstarter. Things are getting close to wrapping for production. We'll add a link at the end, but I believe that you guys still have some pieces available for pre-order on the site. But yeah, I guess one of the questions that we usually start out with is because, you know, brand owners, enthusiasts, everybody in the hobby bridge a huge part of the globe. Whereabouts are you guys? What part of the world do you call home?
Do you want to start?
I think I guess home is where we are right now, and where our family is, wherever your friends and family are. So I think that's Oxford, UK right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I have my two children were born in Oxford, so definitely Oxford is home right now.
How did you begin your journey as watch enthusiast? When the story did start for you, or the love of watches did start for you?
So I'm gonna try to make it very, very short. So it started when as far as I remember, I had like a small quartz watch. I don't know if it had a brand or not when I was maybe 5 years. And that quartz watch was very simple, and it had like rainbow colors on the straps. And this is how I fell in love. I don't know who bought it for me. Was it my dad or my mom? I don't know, but this is how my love for watches started. And then my uncles and my family, they knew I liked watches. So every time for any occasion, they were buying watches for me. And this is basically how it started.
I guess for me, it started. I think my first watch was also just like a small cheap quartz watch. I think it was like a Bart Simpson or a Simpson watch. It was one of those. Those plastic. It had like even a lid. When you looked at it, it didn't even tell time, so it didn't even make sense. But you had to open the lid, and then it'll show a small quartz LCD and just under it.
I had the similar thing. My dad also, when I was very young, but because he used to travel to Japan a lot, and he bought me that kind of things. So it was like basically like a Casio, like a basic G-Shock. And you could also open as you said, you have the lens, you can open it, and you could change the little decoration, the little ornament. So it was like Doraemon and then things like that, those little Japanese characters. Yeah. So that also traumatized me when I was a kid.
But it's kind of cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was like a customizable piece somehow, So actually, we did not talk about it when we did the meet and things like that. But then he came back later, and I was like, "Damn, yeah, that was already predestinate,
Ahead of time, I had inspiration. Yeah.
I think one of my first ones was something I eyed up in Radio Shack, which was like big chain electronics store here in North America when I was a kid, right? And it was the talking alarm watch. So, it was the digital with a button, you'd press it, it would say 7:15 a.m.
I remember those.
And you could set the alarm, and the highlight of that was the rooster. So, it would go off like 7 a.m. cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo. And from there, I just knew I'd be a watch guy for the rest of my life, right? So I guess what was the big catalyst to go from, those first quartz watches? And obviously there was a long progression, between then and when you decided, I want to build my own watch. I want to build my own brand. So what was the big catalyst for you guys to launch Radcliffe or, get going in the microbrand industry?
So how it happened, I used to work as a project manager. I was doing construction projects, hotels, etc., all around Europe. And I was working, I think, for almost 10 years. And then, I was introduced into microbrand watches. How it happened, I I remember it like today. I had a meeting with one of the senior guys of the company, and I was wearing. So I had a Michael Kors. My wife bought me for my birthday. You know, a Michael Kors, a simple one, but it's a skeleton watch. And so this guy asked me what brand was it, you know, and can you remove the watch? And he was looking at it, and he showed me his watch. His watch was a Marlowe. The Marlowe, the first ones, I think they're called. I don't remember what. Cherwell, yeah, like the river in here in Oxford. And I found that watch very interesting. And even though I knew about watches, but I didn't know that brand. And I asked him, and he said they are just based next to Oxford, and you can buy a watch, and you can even collect the watch there. And this is how I started to look about Marlowe, and I got to know a few micro brands, and this is how I was introduced into the micro brand world. And then from one thing leads to another, and then starting to look for the perfect watch every day. And I remember I wanted the helm. Remember, the helm is one of the best divers out there.
Yeah.
And looking for a helm, I got to know more brands, etc. And I was watching reviews. I think all of us watch reviews, YouTube videos, etc. And then one day, I said, okay, I think I've got enough knowledge, because I to give a bit of my personal and professional background, I'm an architect and also civil engineer. So I'm used to work with, drawings and go into the details and things like that. And so what happened is I said, okay, I'll do it one day. And I'm going to create my own watch, because I was not finding exactly the right fit for myself. Then one day I woke up one morning and I said, I'll drop everything and I'm going to create a watch brand. And then I spoke to Yahya about that, and he said, yeah, I'm in if you want to, to do a partnership. And here we are talking to you guys today.
Nice. That's a nice story, man. What are the greatest inspiration in creating your brand, guys?
Yeah, I guess for like what I was kind of getting at there was like, I don't know if you want to speak more to like a design perspective or just inspiration in general to create the brand. So, like what is the greatest inspiration behind Radcliffe and the first watch that you brought to market?
We could talk about the 70s and then
So basically there are like three main elements. Radcliffe comes not from Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, surprisingly. It comes from John Radcliffe, a key doctor actually in Oxford. That the biggest hospital here is called John Radcliffe. And there is a building in the city center called the Radcliffe Camera from John Radcliffe, right? And that building is key to either the design and also the short story of the brand, because when you say here, at least here, Radcliffe or John Radcliffe, you think about Oxford and it's Oxford related. And also if you say Radcliffe Camera, you think about Oxford City Centre. Also, we captured the silhouette of that building into the watch design, the watch style, and in not in the prototypes, but in the production watches, you'll have the silhouette of the top of the building as a tag, as a metal piece, like a 3D metal piece, Radcliffe. So this is the story basically. I don't know if you want to expand.
And just to add on to that, I think you can see if you go onto like Google Maps and you type in Radcliffe Camera and you look from the top, you'll see a circular building with more circles inside it and lines. That silhouette fits on top of the. So if you put the watch over there, you will see a lot of similarities, and it's just a gorgeous building, and it's iconic for Oxford. And we've built our lives here in Oxford after moving from different parts of the world. And it's what joined us together and joined our families together, because our families are friends. And then the name of the watch is actually inspired by our two children. We
Yeah, the hacksaw.
The hacksaw.
It's called the hacksaw.
So we've taken different letters from. So basically, they're both two names, and we fused them.
Oh,
into
nice.
Okay.
So that's become the hacksaw. So it's part of his Haja axle. So it became hacksaw.
Yeah.
And other inspirations were like 1970s chronographs. Bullheads, and
Yeah.
we love what other brands have done in the past. Psycho, is Citizen, and we love racing. We like cars. I'm not trying to be too cliche, but we do like our cars. We like
yeah, man. Why not? And then
like
the
racing.
design
We
is very
like
nice.
speed, and we love our city, and so that was a bit of all that together, I guess.
Exactly. Why not? It's like you have different passions. Why not to put them all together in the product?
Yeah.
And the result is great. I like the square sub dials. The fact that you have like two color tones, on the dial is like, to me, it's a really appealing design.
Nice.
Thank
you.
No, just true. That's what I mean.
I like micro brands a lot, but I have a small Seiko problem.
I think I've seen it.
You have an addiction.
You have a nice
Exactly.
problem actually.
I was late to that party, so I haven't been jumping. I haven't dipped a toe in the vintage pool yet, but yeah, the newer releases I've got a couple kicking around here and there. But anyways, yeah. So I guess we'll kind of wrap on the Kickstarter campaign kind of questions with the next one. So like after this first launch going successfully and now transitioning into production and getting to that exciting time where you're going to have some watches in the steel out there on some wrists all over the world, what would you say the biggest lesson learned through the course of things to here would be? And I mean, I guess it's an interesting thing with Radcliffe also, because there's obviously been a big shift from what the prototype and the campaign watch was to what's going to be delivered. So I don't know if that plays into it at all, but what would you guys say the biggest lesson learned would be to this point?
Yeah, I was about to speak about the case issue. So so this is the prototype, right? This is one of the prototypes. And what we've learned is that this is what I was mentioning at the beginning is sometimes you need to to have a balance between what you like and what you think is cool and what people think is cool as well. And this design, maybe I should expand on this a little bit. So this design is for us at the beginning was cool, right? But for many people it was bulky, and we realized that afterwards. So we took like a radical decision after the Kickstarter to change the case shape and to give it a more I would say more sleek, more sorry.
Slendering?
Like,
yes.
Slendering, yes.
Slendering, exactly. So then we went back to the design, let's say, table. And this is why the supplier hates us at the moment. But I think it's a good
thing. You have to redo all the tooling for the case and everything. So you will postpone a bit. Unfortunately, it will postpone a bit the production, of course.
Exactly. Apparently, they're still complaining because I was chatting yesterday with our guy there, and they're still complaining. We apologize.
Why they complain? At least they got an order, and then worst case, you pay back the tooling charge for the case. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but they said you changed a lot because we kept changing. It's true, we kept changing until the last. I was mentioning that through my technical background, I can check the details. And every time I was looking at the drawings, you know, the sections of the plans, I was seeing something that could be tweaked and that could be better, basically. So
that's what the manufacturer don't understand. They don't understand that you're coming with an idea in mind of a result of a finished product you want. And of course, in the making process, as you're learning on the curve, then you realize other things, and then you want to tweak those things. And they have the approach, is the manufacturing approach, like the client come with the design, we make you the design, we make the order, we get the money, finish. But they don't get the point, or also that for you to, as you said, to guarantee the success of the campaign, you need to discuss with the watch enthusiast and gather their feedback. So maybe you started the first time when you submit the first drawing, the Illustrator drawings or whatever, like with certain color of the dials, and then you realize that actually the guys, they prefer green, or they prefer whatever, orange, or so and you have to adjust the things because you want it to be a commercial success, but they have trouble understanding that.
This is exactly how it is. You're speaking from experience, I can say.
Yeah, that's the same. I exactly the same situation. Of course, the guy hates me even more, even today. we were working, but this time I did it differently. We were working on the second project. This time we made it. Because people at the beginning you start from the design, but then after a while you start realizing that actually you need to start from the movement. Because of course the movement will condition the size of your case, the dimension, and also maybe the design influence that you will put in. So for this time, we started with the movement, and the good thing is like it's a range of movement. There is different complications because we're not supposed to talk about me. Your guys can talk about your.
No, that's
because we always been on that modularity things because our background was the modding and things like that. But I
love the watch, by the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I saw your post. I really appreciate your
watch is really cool.
Means a lot.
Really.
Thank you very much. So that's the thing. Some of the customers told us, oh, it would be awesome if you can bring the modularity level to the watch case, but without having to opening the watch. So I started looking around. I saw a couple of modular projects and things like that. But of course, every time you want to come with your own system because you cannot just, rip off someone's design. It's not very, ethically speaking, it's not very good. So, but what condition? Because we have like a module and the case would be like a shroud. So it gives you one additional thickness. So if you want to be able to stay in that 40 mm things, then you need to go from the dimension of the movement and the restriction on the thing. So that's why now with the time I realized that, and some other guys told me that before, it was like, no, you always start with the movement because that's going to also define your price point.
Yeah.
Define the price point and define the dimension of the final product. So yeah, that's something I learned also from the experience. But yeah, we went through the very similar curve. Right? Everybody goes through it, I think.
But that's where some of these conversations can be good, right? I mean, it's nice to chat, and I think it's kind of evident there's a group of really great brand owners, and I think that group grows all the time too, where there's a really great spirit of collaboration where we know that the people that we engage and that are buying our watches, they're not buying one watch. It's not like we're all out there to fight to the death to sell them the one watch that they're going to purchase. They're going to purchase multiple watches, right? It's not a it's not a death match for that one watch. It's like so might as well cooperate and collaborate a little bit and stuff like that. Which because I'm an enthusiast through and through myself, and my collection's gone up and down the spectrum in terms of price, and now I kind of hang in that $300 to $2,000 range. So it's like the more great products that come into that market, the better for me as an enthusiast too, right? So it's like it's a cool thing to be able to chat and learn and progress together, sort of, right?
Exactly, definitely.
I want to understand you guys have a family life, so this is a question that I that I like to ask every brand owner, every entrepreneur in this podcast. It's like, how do you keep up with the work-life balance in general?
You will start because
I guess for me it's hard. It's hard, to be honest. It's very challenging, and because there's so many requirements to my own training. I'm not just, I think I have an extra level of challenge, because if you just do a 9 to 5 job and you're able to just like go work, come back, and you're done, then it's easier to wrap everything, use all your time around it for anything else, or even to within that 9 to 5 job to do some small things, maybe in your break, or some calls or emails or something like that. I guess in my perspective, I've had a very range and change of like, I'm doing family medicine, so I'll be going from one residency to a different one, requiring night evening shifts, and I think at the end of the day, it's hard. I think it all depends on how passionate you are about what you like to do, and just the struggles in life. I mean, you always have a struggle in life. One thing will come and will go, but at the end of the day, you also need to do the work. At the end of the day, you can go as slow as you want to go, right? But the longer you take, there will be a new watch that will come with a nicer design and will overcome your design, and your design will be old, and you might be too late to sell, and so you're fighting against time all the time. You're always like trying to go for the next watch, trying to be on the game. It's fun, and it's good. It was a good time, and I think at this point it's becoming a bit more challenging for me. So for me, from my perspective, I have the luxury that Tayeb has been doing more of the work, and so therefore I was able to give my input without having to deal with time sensitive stuff. For example, we have the time difference with China. That is challenging, and so I think I'm just considering, if I did not have Tayeb with me and we didn't do this as together and I had to do it on my own, I think it would be a very slow process. I think that's all I can say. It would be a very, very slow process, doing really everything at the same time. This is just my work, and of course, you have to balance family life as well. I didn't even touch on. Oh, they exist. We have children. We have wives and people. But yes, I think that perspective, that's going to be a challenge no matter what you do in life. To be honest,
true.
I think that
for sure.
I think that you always need to balance, regardless if it's work or not work. Everything extra is, you need to set your priorities. You always have to have a priority set.
That's the thing. It's like, that's what I was about to say. Some people will use certain tools to organize their time. Is actually setting up priorities to see which thing comes first and things like this, to try to keep things balanced. But of course, it's hard. Not everybody's good with time management. It's a discipline, man.
I mean, just having children. Do you have children, Alex?
Yeah, I do. I have a 4.5 years old boy. It's very demanding.
Just having children is a demanding thing. I mean, coming from, I have only one daughter now, but it's coming from from not too long ago. We were just friends working on stuff, and then children and stuff. Everything becomes, and there's blessings in that. There's,
of course.
It's just.
But it's a lot of responsibility.
So you need to always play a
try
balance.
to deal with everything.
That's life.
Jungling.
Actually, that is more life than what it was before, when you think about it.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people are like one-man shows, right? So it's nice to chat to other people that, Alex obviously was in this by himself for a long time, trying to run everything.
Before you came in, yeah.
It's like you guys said, it's nice to have partners in the sense that you can share some of that workload, especially when it comes to like that work-life balance stuff. Should almost have like a support group for the wives of micro brand owners or something like that. Man.
On the Facebook groups
they're hilarious.
One of the funniest ones was, I don't even know if it's actually real. It looks like it was fake, but this one meme of a picture of a website, and you could actually like.
Oh, I had the alibi.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
I had the alibi.
The alibi, it's a present. When I saw that,
you won the lottery or something.
Yeah, you won the lottery.
Yeah,
hilarious.
You won this watch.
Oh man.
True story. A guy ordered a watch from us with one. They have like one. It's a credit card that you can use only once.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He wanted to keep this separate from his normal.
From his older statements.
Yeah, so you went out and picked up like a prepaid credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, I guess, guys, watches and watch collecting is how we all ended up where we're at right now. And watch collections are the beast that we're trying to feed in our chosen industry here. So, how many pieces do you guys have in your own personal collections? Just out of curiosity. I mean, there's some beautiful 3-watch collections out there. And, I've got friends that have, 3-figure watch collections in the hundreds too. So what are you guys packing in those boxes?
I only have, I think, 11 at the moment. Just 11.
That's not bad.
Collection is something like, I think, something like 7 or 8 at the moment.
Nice.
I have one watch that I got as a present, as a wedding present actually, and it's a Swiss watch, and it's like my all-in-one. It does everything, and that for me is a very memorable piece. And then I guess my collection has grown since we started Radcliffe. Actually, I'm not even including Radcliffe. Just the prototypes and everything. That's like I haven't even included those. We
have a few prototypes.
Then it will expand. It will double the number probably.
I have a watch that I received 2 days ago, which is amazing. I cannot recommend enough.
Very good.
It's a mint. I really love it. My son.
Thank you very much.
Every time he tries to run with it, when I remove it. Yeah.
Crazy, man. That's nice. That's very kind. Very, very, very nice to hear. Thank you.
I love the coloring, the color and the color of the bezel, the color of
we try to reproduce the tropical colors, because in Hong Kong, when I arrived here, I was staying in a let's say a cheap district. But on this district, like those cheap hotels, they were in Tsim Sha Tsui, which is a very, let's say, consumer-friendly or tourist-friendly area.
Yeah.
But there is a couple of buildings, and there is this building called Champagne Court. Downstairs, you had all those second-hand watch retail stores. Oh yeah, man, it's amazing. One of the guys has like those Franck Muller, like Patek, like you see like crazy pieces. So it's a completely crappy building, but there is a small shopping arcade at the ground floor, and it's packed. It used to be packed because now after the COVID and things are changing a bit also here in Hong Kong. So some of them moved away or closed down, but it used to be a big thing. Champagne Court, you can Google it. Champagne like the champagne. Champagne Court. That's the name of the building. And I saw I started getting into vintage Rolex and things like that. And then what was interesting was the effect of the light, with the time. So some insert, they were black, they were going toward the deep blue, or they were going more brownish toward the maroon, what they call maroon. So that's where I get the colors. That's what people would have liked to. They're used to see, okay, one model, 3 or 5 different colors, dye colors. And they kind of tell us, oh yeah, but it's boring because it's black and things like this. To tell you honestly, I never even thought of this, because to me, in my mind, I always see whatever it's a Royal Oak or a Submariner or things like that. Like those vintage watches always had the black dial. They always had a black dial with print markers. And then to me, that was also easier, because for that customization things, whatever happens, that it will match with the color because it's black, so it matches with everything. But now for the next one, we'll do things a bit differently, because people like to have the understanding of kind of a product line. So the same design but different colors, and then so you have to adapt yourself to the customer, and not only as you said, not only what you think is cool and what you like. Unfortunately, you learn also that it's a commercial journey. Let's say, let's be honest. Of course, it's a passion, but we're trying to sell something. So it needs to relate to the customer. Needs to be able to relate to it. So sometimes you have to lower your choice, or to readjust your choice according to what the customer and what he likes.
Exactly. And that's exactly like what you guys had to do with your case, right? It's like, you're walking that knife's edge of what you want to design, what you want to build, right? And what's commercially viable. It's like, you know, like the watch that you want to build and you want to design might not be the watch that everybody wants to buy. So it's like, how do you find that cohesive blend of what people will buy, what's commercially viable, and what's also the watch that you want to design and put on the market, right? So nice.
And we're happy to change.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
I was just saying we were happy we made that change, thinking about the case.
I think it's going to be great. I think it looks awesome.
Sorry, I just wanted to add that before we finally made that decision, or we asked for feedback. We spoke to our backers. We communicated with them via Kickstarter. We shared it a bit on Facebook. So it wasn't just like a radical decision without like thinking and asking for feedback. I think it's also important. I think one thing that just relates to that, I think it's also important to know how you ask for feedback and the way you ask it. Sometimes people will just say, "What do you think?" and they put their design on Facebook. And if you just say, "What do you think?" people they might love it, but they might absolutely destroy what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you need to also decide how you present. Guide them your question. I mean,
don't make the question too open.
Yeah, don't make it too open, because then the other day I saw someone, I think he just asked about like what his logo, and then I mean, it's good to ask about certain things, but he's like they were just basically designing his logo for him. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Where you can't do that. You just
I got your point. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I see it all the time, like being active in those groups. And right now we're doing a little sharing and canvassing on our next models too. And I did leave a couple questions open, like, what do you think? And I had one this morning. I get up and check it, and the guy said, "I don't like it. It looks like something from AliExpress." And it's like, that's cool if you don't like it. You've got two options. I asked what you think, so I put it out there. Tell me you don't like it. That's cool. But if you tell me it looks like something you're going to find on AliExpress, I said, tell me why. Why would you say this is something that you think might be from AliExpress? And then I said, I'll wait. Because, some people just say something just to say something. And I don't mind, because you've just bumped me up in the news feed, so more people are going to see the post. But then, what you were saying there, like, you definitely see the people, and if that's the way that they want to progress through the process, where literally every single aspect, from the logo to the case, to the movement, to the hands, to the dial, to the colors, like they canvas the watch groups for their entire design, right? And it's like, that's cool, do it. It's going to take some time, and I promise you that design that you just canvassed the watch group from is not going to please absolutely everybody. So it's,
first of all, you can't please everybody, and then the second point is also like some of those feedback are constructive and interesting to take into account. Some of them are worthless, man.
Yeah,
because as we discussed before, with the limitation with those cases and everything, a lot of watch enthusiasts don't have that understanding. So same like when you post about the new style in the group, and the guy posted a chronograph, you know what I mean? And then I said, yeah, that's great, but unfortunately, the chronograph movement is too wide for what we want to do. But that's the thing, because they didn't create a watch, they didn't be into the process with the industrial design and things, so they don't have that understanding. So sometimes it comes from a good, how to say, goodwill. They want to give you a good advice, but unfortunately, the advice cannot work actually, or it's not working.
It doesn't work.
Just wanted to ask you guys if you were interviewing yourselves. Interesting. Is there anything that we missed? Is there anything that we didn't ask you that you wish we would have asked?
Would like to address?
Other questions I would ask myself, I have no idea.
Maybe I think a good question that if I could ask myself, if I go back like 1 year ago, what would I have done differently, for example, on this venture, on the watches, on the Kickstarter? Because as we were saying, that the learning curve is going up, and so that would be something I would ask myself. if I was the interviewer. And
So please, sir, go ahead with your explanation.
I'll do. Just waiting for your green light.
You're so polite, my friend. You're so polite.
We're very, very polite, especially in Britain, you know.
We have to behave. Yes.
So actually, just summarizing what we touched on earlier on this interview. So, see if, of course, don't let people design your product for you. So you need to have, in order for a brand to exist and to expand, you need to have a vision and to basically to know, not exactly because it's a learning process, but you need to know where you're going basically, and what you're expecting with your product from your niche audience. And the case is a very good example of the learning curve. And we're very grateful we had time to change that case. And I think this small example summarizes everything. So if we were at the beginning of the process, we would have shown the case, and we would have discussed the case, because at the beginning we had no idea about the thickness issue, because for me personally, I used to love thick watches.
Okay.
And I realized after the Kickstarter that actually people like slim cases or slim profiles. If you take the Omega Speedmaster, it's a thick watch, but it's like architecture and design. Again, I will compare this to construction. It's a visual effect. The thickness is the same, but the visual effect is very different.
They add steps. So you have a thin profile, and then you have a first steps, and then it's going like this, and you can.
It's just what we try to do with basically the new case is what we've learned. So it's we designed a case that could be the first case. We couldn't brush it because of the it's curved. You can brush one side and not the other side, and the finish would have looked horrible brushed. So this is why we went for either polished or sandblasted. But the new case, we could mix the brushed and the polished to give a nice effect. And also it's steps. So it's polished on the top, brushed in the middle, polished on the bottom. And also you have a unique feature that the surrounding circle, steel circle of the sapphire is popping up. So it's we have small steps and curved lugs to give So yeah.
Case profile and design.
Yeah, and learning curve.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
if I can add one thing that I would add that I find just an interesting thing more related to design is I think I noticed that there is a very much this there's a group of people that like light looking watches. So I don't mean, it doesn't have to be white, but very light colors. And some people are looking mainly for the dark looking colors. And I think that's a very big divide in the group of consumers or watch enthusiasts. And so I think I'm happy that initially we were almost considering staying with a few darker colors. And I'm actually happy I personally, and there's a bit of me, I personally like light. I love white. I love silver. I love just bright. And I'm probably, it's a minority. I think most people like a bit of color and more darker, but so I like so I'm happy we kept that in, because at the end of the day, it was still very popular. Our white dialed watches was very popular and sold a good amount. And so I think it's just good to keep that into perspective, that there are some people that if you just give them that different colors of dials, don't forget to put in the white
or light color. Yeah,
bright, something bright.
Yeah,
definitely.
Nice. Okay, guys, so we know where Radcliffe's been at or is at, and what that first watch is like. I'll throw that up on the screen here also, so that everybody can take a peek at what's available from Radcliffe now, and
Nice. Le Mans.
you know, get in on that pre-order while there's still some pieces available. I know myself, I've got this Le Mans colorway coming, which I'm super pumped for multiple reasons. But again, like I'm really happy to add a Radcliffe to my collection. You know, yeah, like you said, with those lighter and brighter colors, that's something. If I was to go and haul my watch box downstairs right now, I'm lacking a little bit on the light and bright. So yeah, it's very cool stuff, and we'll add a link in the description of the video also to Radcliffe Watches for you guys to check that stuff out. But what can you guys tell us is coming next for Radcliffe? I know that there's been some murmuring out on the Facebook groups, and what will we see next from Radcliffe Watches?
So hopefully, just right after the axles are delivered, we are launching a diver, the Radcliffe Tsunami. We posted a few pictures on the Facebook groups, and we had quite positive feedback, actually. So we're very excited to launch this next project. It's 300 meters resistance diver, Miyota 9015. It's got, you know, the tweaks we all watch enthusiasts like what you call it, diver extension, and some, you know, an embossed case back with the very you know, a very famous drawing, you know, the wave of Kanagawa, the Japanese one.
Okay.
It has been used quite a lot on some dials, but not on case backs. So we took that one and you know, had a very unique case back. And yeah, so as usual, nice color combinations, and yeah.
The last question would be where can our listeners connect with you guys?
So yeah,
To the website, Instagram.